I'm Kim Bookbinder. I call myself the Impossible Girl. I'm here to tell you about my creative process, which I call creative anarchy. And it's not a political movement. I'm not talking about destruction or mayhem. It's a process of evolving structures and flexible hierarchies. Creative anarchy is wanting everything and figuring out how to have that, even though it's impossible. See, when somebody asks me what I want, I always say everything. And when somebody asks me what I want to do, I say everything. Now, the problem with having everything is that you can't. And the problem with doing everything is that you really can't. I know because I've tried. I know, but I keep trying, because in a universe of endless possibilities, how can I choose? So when I was invited to do this talk, and the talk could be about anything, I thought, great, I'm going to talk about everything. And then I got lost in a sea of endless possibility. It's a beautiful sea, and you can drift forever, but you don't get anywhere until you set a direction. And the minute you do that, the minute you say this way and not that way, you end those possibilities. And for somebody like me who wants everything, that's really painful. Given the choice between two things, I always choose all three. But it's this wanting everything that led me to creative anarchy. Because I can't choose between this idea and this idea, and this idea and this idea and this idea. They're all equally creatively interesting, and they're all colliding around in my brain, smashing against each other, creating new concepts. Sometimes it feels like wanting everything and trying to have it turns my head into a particle collider for ideas. And this is where my art begins. But the next step is to actually make something. And to make something, I have to follow rules. Because when I sit down to write a song, I hit a note. And before I hit that note, there is no song, only the endless possibility of every song happening simultaneously, a deafening cacophony of silence. So I hit that note, and that note is a rule because it dictates which of the notes can follow it, collapsing possibilities. And the next note becomes a subsequent rule, collapsing even more possibilities. But as I play and the song unfolds, I find that the rule that limits me is the path that draws me forward. The limitation is the structure that gives shape to what I'm creating. As a creative anarchist, I want absolute creative freedom. But to create something, I need rules, which is a paradox. So I deal with it by making rules for myself. I decide on notes and key and meaning. My last album was a space album, and having that focus helped me make something coherent and epic and beautiful. But I also wanted to make a pop album so it would be fun to listen to and great for dancing. But pop is quite conventional and maybe a little bit boring, and I also like experimental music. So I took glitchy noises made from sonifying scientific data, and I collided that with pretty pop songs. Then I enlisted the help of scientists, astronomers and astrophysicists to help me make a dance album, which is what you do with scientists, right? And then because I like electronic music, but I also like acoustic music, I collided a folk instrument with synthesizers to make something that sounds both incredibly alien and totally from the planet we're standing on. And this is where the freedom comes in, by colliding all these rules together. And it helps lessen the pain of collapsing the infinite. Because each choice I make is a brick in a wall, and that wall was keeping all of the other possibilities away. But that wall became a castle, and that castle was in space. It's a great time to be a creative anarchist, with our unprecedented access to information. But it's not all castles in space. Because when you're somebody who wants everything, you're also somebody who cares about everything. And sometimes when you let everything in, you're letting in challenging or difficult subjects, Russian activists disappearing, The Syrian government killing its own people, the American government spying on everybody, financial inequality, constant war, misogyny, ongoing racism. It can get really intense when you let everything in. But if you can let it all in and let it all jostle around, colliding into each other, because every idea is equally creatively interesting. If you can let that happen, you can make something totally new, totally surprising, something that starts a conversation that maybe we should be having. Music is my medium, but my work is just part of a larger conversation. My particle collider came up with space science and pop music. Who knows what it'll come up with next? And your work is part of a larger conversation. Your voice is vital, and your work can have extra vitality if it surpasses its limitations by engaging ideas that haven't been heard together before. So let your brain be a particle collider. Smash those rules together. Treat every idea as equally creatively interesting. For a little while, try creative anarchy. And then next time somebody asks you what you want, say everything.